The state Republican Party, in a majority vote, decided to collectively remove Christian Ziegler. This after he refused to resign, even with his suspension from the party last month on grounds that the allegations were a big distraction in a critical election year. More than a dozen public school advocacy groups, some of them right behind me here at this rally, are among those calling for Bridget Ziegler to resign. Now, the calls for her resignation intensifying after details about a sexual assault claim against her husband, Christian Ziegler, emerged late last month. And the entire ordeal led Beata Kowalski to take her own life in January 2017, and the Kowalski family is blaming Johns Hopkins for her death. They're suing for $220 million. We have been out here all day looking to see if there's any possibility of law enforcement activity here. So far, we haven't seen any, as the FBI and the local police, as you said, continue searching for Brian Laundrie over at the Carlton Reserve. But so far, we're getting some more information now about some of the people who saw Gabby Petito just before her death. Right now, crews are pulling in the wreckage of the plane right behind me here. They're pulling it into the Hygo Park, and they're going to lift it out of the water with a crane, after which they will transport it to the NTSB Center in Jacksonville. At that press conference, the Petito family thanked law enforcement for their efforts in finding Gabby. They also thanked the public worldwide for their prayers and their support, and they said that the key purpose right now is to turn this tragedy into something positive. First, by finding justice for Gabby, and secondly, by helping those other families whose loved ones are still missing. Organizers for the event tell me around 60 international race teams and drivers are coming to Sarasota this weekend to show off their boating skills, and thousands of spectators with lots of money to spend are also coming to see them do just that. Sarasota police say the driver first crashed into a pole, and then his vehicle careened into this business. Luckily, there were no pets inside, but the ongoing renovations to the business are now set back. Most of the supplies in this hangar go towards relief efforts in Caribbean countries like Haiti. A lot of it is also going to missionaries who live there. This kidnapping, though, is likely going to change the way they live and the way they do their missionary work. And law enforcement led by FBI, along with search and rescue teams, have been combing through the Carlton Reserve for the past 6 days now. They're hoping to find Laundrie so that they can ask him some of those questions that they have, and he can tell them exactly what he knows about Gabby Petito's death.
Investigators are back at the reserve today. What are they still looking for?
We have seen investigative teams go in and out of the park. You can see one of them standing by here at the entrance of the park. And the teams include from the FBI, the Northport Police Department, as well as the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. And they include cadaver dogs as well. And they're all trying to find out more clues that can help them determine who the partial human remains belongs to and what else could be left on the park's premises. There are 31 freight containers stacked like Lego bricks to make this firehouse. It allows firefighters to experience different simulated scenarios for their fire and rescue training. For example, a fully kitted firefighter as big as Anthony here can make his way through a hole as small as this.
Adaure, what do we know, though, about this new chair, Evan Power?
Evan Power is a Leon County Republican Party chair, and he was in the clear running for the leadership position once calls emanated for Ziegler's removal. Now, the unanimous votes that rallied behind Power is a sign that the Republican Party here in Florida wants to move past the Ziegler scandal and face the upcoming 2024 elections head on.
All right. Adaure Achumba reporting live in Sarasota tonight. Thanks, Adaure.
The organizers say not to worry. They still have lots of live animals that kids can interact with and get to learn a lot about farm life and the agriculture industry. And I've got one more treat here for my friend here. Let's try it. And then here. Okay. All right. Oh, he got it. All right. Now, reporting live in Sarasota, Adaure Achumba, 10 Tampa Bay.
Adaure, you are brave there.
Maya Kowalski was only 10 at the time of her ordeal, now 17. She says she recalls vividly how she was treated differently from other children at the hospital, and in her own words, stripped from her family.
I was a ballerina at one point.
I was a gymnast and then a figure skater.
Maya Kowalski describing what life was like before she was diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome.
It's like I was born with gasoline deep within my body, and some incident, whether it was that sprained ankle or the severe asthma attack, was like a match and acted as a catalyst that just set my body on fire, and I have to live with this burning pain.
And taking jurors through a timeline of her illness before her diagnosis, from the first symptoms around 2015. The family even seeking treatment in Mexico before she ended up at Johns Hopkins All Children's in October 2016.
None of the doctors knew what was wrong with me at the time, so they just assumed that strengthening my muscles would maybe help get me to walking again.
Maya was sheltered at the hospital under DCF orders and kept from her family for 87 days.
When I expressed to them a symptom or like my pain, they would say, "No, you're making it up," or "It's in your head."
And then there was the social worker.
At one point, the social worker, Kathy Beatty, said that my mom was in a mental institution. They were trying to even manipulate me into thinking that my mom was sick and therefore making me sick, even though it wasn't true.
Mom Beata accused of child abuse, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and over-medicating her with ketamine, later taking her own life wearing a bracelet Maya made.
I found out later that she wore it every single day, and when she was found in the garage, she was still wearing it. And I have it on my neck right now. It was actually so unbelievably cruel, the amount of time they allocated for me to spend with my family after hearing such awful news.
And tonight, the hospital continuing to maintain that its staff was only acting on DCF orders, following those orders, and acting in the interest of the child. Now, tomorrow, testimonies do continue here at the Sarasota courts. The family, Kowalski family that is, suing for $220 million. Live in Venice, Adaure Achumba, 10 Tampa Bay. After waking up to an alarming text message Saturday about Hamas's terrorist attacks in southern Israel, Gillian Kay says she's been on edge ever since, constantly looking for news about the people of Kibbutz Naraz.
My stepson Sagi, who lives there with his wife Avital and their 2 kids, she's also pregnant and due in December. My stepson Sagi is missing.
According to Kay, Sagi was last seen by his pregnant wife and children, securing them in a bunker, and then seen fending off the terrorists during the hours-long siege. Tonight, 240 of the community's 400 residents are either missing or were killed. Sagi's status is unknown.
We're desperately trying to find out, like so many other families, where he is, what happened to him. Is he in Gaza with Hamas?
Sagi's family eventually rescued and, along with survivors, evacuated. Tonight, Kay's husband is in Tel Aviv trying to find his son.
Just to get information, to know that Sagi is okay. Of course, to bring him home, but to know he's okay. We know how strong he is. He's strong, heart of a lion.
This must be traumatizing for you and the family.
I can't even imagine what they're feeling right now, having witnessed it, having been there, having had to walk outside their homes and see bodies on the ground, people they know, they love, they grew up with.
What is your wider hope for this situation?
What a great question. My hope is that in some way, young people, old people, Palestinians, Israelis, I don't care who they are, will stop dying. Because this hate just breeds more hate.
In Sarasota, Adaure Achumba, 10 Tampa Bay. Northport's police chief says at this time there is no evidence that Brian Laundrie or anyone else for that matter has committed a crime. But he says it is frustrating that the Laundrie family is not speaking with police except communicating through their lawyer. So for now, both the police and the Petito family are focusing all their efforts on finding Gabby.
This is what matters. That is it. Anything else, it comes second to this.
Joseph Petito is begging for help with finding his 22-year-old daughter, Gabby.
I'm asking for help from everyone here. I'm asking for help everyone at home. I'm asking for help from the parents of Brian and I'm asking for help of the family members and friends of the Laundrie family as well.
Gabby Petito was reported missing on Saturday, but was last heard from on August 30 while in Wyoming. The van used for that road trip is registered in her name, but her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, returned to his Florida home without her. Authorities in Moab City, Utah released body cam video of an August 12th incident involving the couple.
There's a lot of information coming through. We have to analyze that information, we have to vet that information, and it takes time.
The investigation into Petito's disappearance now involves law enforcement in at least 4 states, all of them trying to connect the dots and locate the young woman safe and sound.
Right now, this is a missing person case, all right? And our focus is to find Gabby. My focus isn't to bring Brian in right now, it's to find Gabby. Brian is exercising his constitutional rights, and I have to respect that. But as of right now, the focus is finding Gabby.
There is a tip line that you can call anonymously. Whatever you can do to make sure my daughter comes home, I'm asking for that help. There's nothing else that matters to me now.
And that FBI tip line that you can call with any information is 1-800-CALL-FBI. It's a 24-hour hotline, and authorities are, of course, asking for only credible and helpful information. This recent kidnapping is yet another symptom of the growing security concern in Haiti, and local missionaries who work with and depend on agape flights are not exempt from that danger.
The gang violence has made my life miserable. This has been going on ever since they killed Jovenel Moïse.
Mark Stockland has lived in rural Haiti for 15 years, operating the Haiti Bible Mission. It can take his team between 6 to 8 hours to get to supplies in the main city, Port-au-Prince. As the last 2 years have seen a rise in violence and kidnappings, he stepped up security to protect the vulnerable mission compound and escort vehicles.
I have a bulletproof SUV, and we have to pay armed guards and Haitian military, SWAT with AK-47s and, AR-15s to take us to Port-au-Prince because it's too dangerous to go through port.
Because of the work you do interacting with the local population there, it sort of makes you a moving target, right?
For me, it just makes me realize that every time my kids go downtown, I just need to make sure that, there isn't some informant, calling somebody, hey, there's a white kid here, there's, a family here. So, but I always have to be ready, and that puts a little stress, just knowing at any moment something could happen, I guess.
Kidnappings and abductions are not unusual these days in Haiti. It's really, Port-au-Prince is known now as the kidnap capital of the world.
Venice-based Agape Flights is dubbed a lifeline for the missionaries with its multiple supply and shuttle runs. Last year, a mob mistook their plane for one of the gangs and set it on fire.
We really try to help our missionaries understand that they have to be very cautious in their movements, but they've been called to be there. And so many of our long-term missionaries who have been in Haiti for 40-plus years understand there is still hope for Haiti.
Kenya's president wants to send 1,000 police to help neutralize the gangs and keep the peace.
The Haitian people are hurting, but it also takes a toll on us because the money that we would have to help people, it's costing us 3 times more to do what we used to do.
In Venice, Adaure Achumba, 10 Tampa Bay.
There are traces of that incident from last night, including this bullet hole here on the sun. And if you follow me over here, you can see yet another bullet hole on this wall. It's just another extreme example of what neighbors say is a growing concern about short-term rentals in their neighborhood.
It was around 12:30 that I wake up to all this screaming, loud noise, and then all of a sudden there is shotguns, and it was so scary. Bam, bam, bam.
Neighbor Manuel Chipote said he'd heard at least 6 gunshots coming from guests at a party at this home on Jackson Drive. The party had spilled onto the streets, and in the 30 years that he's lived here, he said he had never seen anything like it.
I live 2 houses from here, and it was very, very loud, and I was scared. I said, my gosh, what's going on now in our peaceful neighborhood?
Police say the incident happened around 1 a.m. with 2 people taken to a local hospital with minor injuries. Monday morning, a police drone searched to see if there was any injured person unaccounted for. Neighbors say their community is being overrun by short-term rentals, or what they call hotel houses.
They have reduced the number of people to be only 12, but there's houses with big swimming pools, parties. It's like 30 people that come in there and disturbing our residential neighborhood, peaceful life that we have had.
It's absolutely unacceptable to come somewhere that isn't your home and to disrespect our city.
Sarasota police say the incident is isolated and rare, especially for a vacation rental. They say this is the only shooting incident on Lido Key this year.
That just shows you how rare of an occurrence a shooting in the middle of the night on a Sunday of all nights is to occur there.
Neighbors hope this would spur tighter regulations that would place restrictions on short-term rentals.
Someone could have been killed. Innocent bystanders, innocent people that is taking care of their business, being shot in the street for nothing.
In Sarasota, Adaure Achumba, 10 Tampa Bay.
Why we tell the story.
That's the question at the center of this award-winning Caribbean calypso tale, set in the early post-colonial French island of Antilles. It's a coming-of-age story of a dark-skinned young peasant girl named Timoon, who falls in love with the light-skinned biracial son of a wealthy elite family.
Colorism has been something that has been around for so long, and I have to work 3 times harder than someone maybe his color.
Orphaned and adopted after a hurricane, Timoon learns tough life lessons on her journey to discover love and purpose.
Everyone is here for a reason. So to know that and put that inside of another little black girl somewhere, that you're here for a purpose and you're here for a reason, whatever that may be, that's something that can be a real takeaway from this show.
Southwest Florida adores this space because it really helps the walls to fall down. We have an opportunity to brighten up our corner of the world and bring more understanding.
For founder Nate Jacobs, the purpose of such a theater institution is not only to create spaces for artists of color, but to serve as a steward for such black-centered stories and history, often overlooked by mainstream institutions or inaccessible to smaller communities.
I hear the conversations in the hallways. They say, oh my God, I feel at home at this theater. If we don't tell our stories, who will? Nobody else is responsible for keeping that culture alive.
We want to make people feel things, you know, they should leave out of this theater feeling something.
And to answer the question why?
Love is why, grief is why, hope is why, faith is why, you are why we tell the story. And to the music of the gods, we dance.
In Sarasota, Adaure Achumba, 10 Tampa Bay.